So John's just said he doesn't have social media. There might be some other people out there that don't. What's the good one to have? I think you need to find out what your friends are using, because some friendship groups might use Facebook, some might do Instagram, but Instagram's quite a good one to go on. Well, if you've already got Facebook, then that's good. Yeah. If you've already got things that have friends added, that's probably your best one to go on.
Another thing that's really great is if you set up like if you WhatsApp people, like so if you a few people that you go in, hey look, I'm doing this challenge, particularly the one that you're gonna get sent on Tuesday. Like I sent probably about 130 people just that WhatsApp video and said, hey, just wanted you to know that I'm doing this. Just if you wanted support, no worries if not, right? I probably got about, from that, probably a few thousand just from that. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So we'll go through a bit of the schedule first, and then afterwards we'll go through a bit about the equipment you need to bring and make sure everyone's clear on that as well. So first of all, the set-off times. So I have been notified that you will be setting off at approximately 7 a.m. every day. So quite an early start. I know that it gets quite dark quite early in Cambodia, which is why they want to get you to set off then. So and you're going to be cycling between 6 and 8 hours a day, obviously depending on the conditions. Some days are a bit longer, and depending on the kind of how fast everyone's going in the group. A lot of people have been asking, like, how often are we going to be able to stop? What is provided? So what they've said is there's going to be breaks with snacks throughout. Every 20 kilometres they aim to stop. So they said there'll be some shorter breaks where you literally stop to replenish your water. If you need to go to the toilet, you can do that. But there's going to be at least 2 20 to 30 minute breaks where you will have snacks or a meal. So obviously halfway through the day you'll have lunch, and it's every 20 kilometres. So there's 2 short breaks of 10 minutes for filling water up and taking photos. So there we go, they've already got that in there for you. And then in terms of the meal you have for lunch, they've put it's usually going to be Vietnamese or Cambodian food. So they've put here, these are the examples. So if any of these are things that you do not eat, please let me know in advance. They've put salad, fish, chicken, beef, fried vegetables, soup, rice, and fruits. So that's Ben saying no salad. So yeah. To be fair, that is very true. It's best to have cooked vegetables out there. Snacks, they'll be providing fresh and dried fruits, cookies, rice cakes, potato chips, and fresh juice. And I have asked what the toilet facilities are like, and they said they will ensure that every break that you have will have a proper toilet there to use for everyone. I know that was your question, Susan. And then I mentioned it earlier, but the support van will be travelling with you as much as possible. So when the road conditions are good enough for the van, it will be following you. So, if someone did fall off and get injured and needed to have a stop for a while or that kind of thing, then the support van will be nearby. And then obviously when a break point is coming up, it will drive on ahead so that they can get everything ready for you so that it's ready to go when you arrive. And then evening-wise, you will be eating out in a local restaurant each evening. I think that's it. And then we've all talked about if you're sharing a room or not. You should be aware of that by now. If you've booked have your own room, and you'll be staying in the local hotels. Ben mentioned it as well. When you arrive on Sunday, most people are arriving in the morning, I think, so there's time to kind of acclimatise, get checked into the hotel, and then in the evening, the team leader and the doctor who will be arriving from Global Adventure will be going out for a meal with you and just going through a briefing and going through the itinerary in a bit more detail with you all. And then on the Monday, we will be, Hope for Justice will be hosting you, so we will be taking you around the 3 projects in Phnom Penh, and we will host you that day. So that's for the Monday, and then Tuesday you will go to visit the killing fields, which gives you a better overview of kind of the problems that Cambodia have, why they are the way their society is the way it is, and kind of some of the cultural things that have gone on there. That gives you better context to things like why slavery is so prevalent in that culture. So you will actually set off from the killing fields to your first point. So when you leave the hotel on Tuesday to go to the killing fields, after that you'll set off from the killing fields. That's the way they're doing it. So that is the schedule. Are there any questions so far? Apparently, Stein Magnus has said he thinks you'll be fat by the with all that food. Any other questions that anyone has about the schedule so far? No? It's pretty straightforward. Okay, the next thing, Global Adventure have just asked me to reiterate to you about some of the equipment that you need to take, just to make sure that everyone goes out with it, because it's probably not going to be as easy to buy things out in Cambodia if you forget it. So one question I had sent through to me from one of our cyclists was about the pedals that you'll be using. And yeah, so one of the pedals you'll be using, they've said they're normal pedals, so there's no clip-ins. So if you're used to that, they have said you can bring those with you, and they are happy to put them onto the bikes you'll be using, but the ones that they have hired out have normal pedals. So in terms of footwear, they're telling you just to wear normal sports shoes or cycling shoes without clips, if you were wondering. And then someone else had asked about cycling in groups. Are we going to be splitted into groups or all together? What they've said is they try and get everyone to cycle together in like single or double file. But if there is a big difference in the groups, they might split it into two, and they'll make sure that there's a support person with that group. So we have a team leader from Global Adventure, but they also have support crew that will be out in like local Cambodians or Vietnamese who will also be going on the cycle ride as well. So they'll make sure that there's a tour guide with whichever group if we need to do that. We've just had a question about passports. So do you need to carry them at all times? We will be taking your luggage with us in the support vehicle. So we will have it with us. You don't need to have it on you physically, but we will have all of your items with us in the support vehicle, so you don't need to worry about that. Helmets, it's a really good question. You need to bring your own helmet, so just bear that in mind when you're packing. But yeah, they have asked everyone to bring their own helmet, because obviously you need to make sure it fits properly, it's comfortable, it's something that you use all the time in your training, so bring whatever you've been training in. I think that's everything on Zoom for now. Are there any other questions with anything I've just said? Yeah. 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 So I'll go through in a bit more detail the key things. So like I said earlier, we're providing you with bib shorts and a jersey. We've got two, so you'll be able to alternate while the other one's being washed each day. You need to bring your own helmets and your own shoes, and they have suggested definitely bring gloves because of the terrain you're going on. It's quite rocky and rubbly, so you will have impact on your wrists and on your arms, so they've definitely recommended that. The other thing to note is we are coming out of the rainy season in Cambodia, and apparently there is still quite bad rain at the moment. They're hoping it will have started to clear up by the time we go, but make sure you bring, obviously it's not cold out in Cambodia, but you might want to bring a light raincoat to protect you if it is a massive downpour. So that's something to think about. First aid kit, we do have a doctor on board in the support vehicle, so they will have a first aid kit, but I would recommend, it's probably worth you bringing a few items for your own personal use in your luggage, like back in the hotel at night, that kind of thing, but the doctor will have everything they need if you fell off your bike and you needed to clean a wound up or anything like that, so you don't need to worry about that. Trying to see. I think they were the key things. You don't need it is going to be really hot out there. It's still like 85% humidity or more. So in terms of, if someone was asking about evening attire or when we're not cycling, what should we bring? Just bring light clothing. It's so humid out there, you just want to be able to stay cool. When we're visiting the projects in Cambodia, because we're going to be visiting the school, all the staff dress smartly, the pupils will be wearing uniforms, so we would ask you to dress in smarter attire, so a shirt and maybe some lightweight smart trousers, or for the women, if you want to wear a dress or a skirt, that's fine. With women, you just need to make sure that your shoulders are covered and it's like up down to your knees, nothing shorter than that. And then in the evenings, it's up to you what you'd like to wear. We're not going to be going anywhere else where you'd need to dress necessarily really smart. So just casual, lightweight clothing to keep you cool. That's everything on kit. Is there anything that's I haven't covered that people want to ask about? No? Okay, so lastly, just want to remind people that for Cambodia you need to have a visa, and you need to make sure that your passport is in date. So if you can make sure that your passport, well, with anywhere you have to travel, you need to have it at least 6 months or more in date. So to get the e-visa, I actually did it for myself because I'm going out to Cambodia on Wednesday. It's really simple. It took 5 minutes to do, and I instantly got mine through. So you can do it online. It doesn't cost a lot at all. And you'll just need to bring that with you. Make sure you've printed the documents off so that you can get in to Cambodia. Again, for Jim, you'll just need to make sure you've got your Vietnamese one for the border as well. And then the last thing is just to check all your vaccinations are up to date as well, because we need to make sure you're having your vaccinations at least 1 to 2 weeks before you go. So if you haven't already done that, make sure you give your doctor a call. Any other questions?
With the wet weather, will the route still be passable? It might be a bit tougher, but it'll still be passable. We're not going to have to not do it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. They've chosen routes that should be passable. When I've been out to Cambodia, there have been areas of flooding, but it's not like whole cities are flooded. So they've made sure that the date we're going, they wouldn't have advised it otherwise, because I'd originally suggested an earlier date, and they said that we couldn't do it any earlier than the date we're doing. So at the moment they're monitoring it, and although it is raining, they haven't foreseen any problems. The good thing is they've worked out other routes that you could do potentially that you might need to do. So they've obviously chose the best route possible, but there'll be other ways around it. But yeah, it's a good question. But yeah, it shouldn't be a problem, because we should be going in out of the rainy season when it's really, really bad. So Jonas, we have ordered 2 sets of bib shorts for each cyclist. They're part of the package that we're getting created by the cycle company that have sponsored it. So you'll have 2, and what we're saying is we'll be washing one of your outfits on the day you're wearing the other, so you should always have a clean outfit. Okay, any other questions? I'm not going to promise anything. You might get something as you're leaving Cambodia and into your last day, as you enter into the last 10, 20 kilometres into Ho Chi Minh, you might, but we are going to be going through rural Cambodia. So there should definitely be Wi-Fi at the end of each day at the accommodation you're staying at, definitely, but I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to live stream in rural Cambodia. So probably not. I'd plan to say not, and it's a bonus if you can. Are there any others I've missed? Yes, so Alistair, malaria isn't covered on the NHS, so if you would like to take malaria tablets, then I think you have to pay for them. And like I said, Global Adventure said you need to go to your GP and decide, each person decides personally whether they want to do that or not. But like Ben recommended, go for the ones that you take, is it once a day are the better ones, because they don't make you feel as nauseous. And I actually, I spoke to one of the team leaders at Global Adventure, and they said they once took the other malaria tablets where you're taking them at like a few times a day, and it ruined his whole trip because he just felt sick all the time and he couldn't actually complete the challenge. So if you are going to take them, look to take the ones that are just once a day if you want to do that. Yeah, I think that's everything then, if there's no other questions.
Right, just a few more things before we go. We did a cycle today, so if you're on Strava, remember to give me kudos. Just joking. But don't you do it, Jonas, because I know that you're not really impressed, or give me kudos on it. But joking. Just to say, just to reiterate again, we all stay together. You know, it isn't a race. You know, it's not a sprint. It's team together. And I just want to say on behalf of both of us and Rose and all the team that we just cannot wait to host you, show you what's going on, and it really is game changing for us. You've gone way and above and beyond what we expected, really. And so I hope this is going to be a memory that you cherish for the rest of your life. So thank you everyone online. Have you got anything else to say?
Just one more quick thing. We've tried to collate everyone's flights timings to kind of arrive at a similar time. So for anyone coming from Manchester, Rose is going to be your point of contact, and we're going to make sure that you know exactly where you're meeting up at the airport in Manchester. Same with Norway. Sondre will coordinate where you meet at Oslo airport, so you can all travel together. And then Alistair, you and Mike will be going from Glasgow, so if you want to coordinate with Mike about that. And then what we have arranged is you all arrive within an hour or so of each other, so we're going to have a pickup. I'm actually going to be out in Cambodia still, so I will be at the airport to greet everyone and make sure everyone gets to our hotel. So that's just the last thing. We'll be in touch about where you all meet up at the different airports.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing is, you're right, actually, Jonas said something really fascinating. We are 6-7 hours difference. So it will be like getting up at midnight. So, so live streaming actually will be done, which is great. Will be done, hopefully. Come on, guys. Let's keep the tempo up. Will be done by the time everyone gets up. And then you can do your live streaming from there. Great day, et cetera, et cetera. Can we have a messenger group quickly so we can get in touch with each other? Yeah, Martin, can you do that? I'll get WhatsApp group. Yeah, WhatsApp group will be great. Build community and stuff like that. So Martin can make that happen either today or Monday. We'll make that work. In fact, if you just want to send all your email address, all your numbers, if you can do this, this is your action right now. If you can send it to martin.wong, Martin, MARTIN .WONG at hopeforjustice.org. If you can just send that right now to him, and then he can get that set up to you pretty quickly. I think the final thing just to say is just like we're excited to have. What does that say? Jonas says, Ben, promise you I'll get you love riding. That's not true. Such a great way to experience freedom. Exactly what we're fighting for, to love riding. Yes, you might, but you will never get me loving riding on social media. Because no one gives. Remember, guys, no one gives to people. It's like no one's going to ever sponsor me to eat a cake, all right? There we go. Just to say, guys, before you go, guys, an absolute honor and privilege. And I will see you in Cambodia. I will be there. It's so exciting. and cycling into Vietnam. It's going to be beautiful, glorious. You know, it's going to be hot and sticky, and we're all probably going to get mad with each other. But no, we're not. We're going to enjoy the journey because every pedal that you're doing is a life that's being transformed. Let me just tell you this one thing, and just to help you understand why we did this challenge. And you've probably heard me say it again, but I think it's just important. Our team went to Vietnam. The reason why we're doing this is because our team went to Vietnam and they found 7-year-old children down gold mines and collecting gold for Western companies. And our team literally were interviewing some of the villages and some of the people, and they heard stories of these 7-year-old children. Literally, once the gold had been collected, the traffickers wouldn't let them out, but they would literally shut the mines for the children to suffocate, to die, to starve alone. And that's the reason why we're starting in Vietnam. We actually didn't have a budget to start Vietnam. We didn't have a charity out there. We hadn't set it up. We hadn't got memorandum of understanding with the government. We went on behalf of a company out there that was trying to address their slavery in their supply chains. But we started a small little project in this year, and we've already had 1,200 children graduate that program, and we're going to advance that, build that, and we're going to use the support and the efforts that you have made through your fundraising. And you are going to strengthen our response to Vietnam and to Cambodia and our Global Development Fund. And you're going to help us to be able to start addressing that. So on behalf of the children that are yet free and that will be free because of this, I just want to applaud you and say, well done, well done, well done. Right, we'll see you in Cambodia, Stein Magnus. See you in Cambodia, everyone else. Jonas, you can cycle there, and we'll meet you there. And just excited. I'm a prayer, so would you mind if I just quickly just prayed, just for safety, if you don't mind. Father God, I just thank you for all the glorious people that have signed up to support this, and all the people that have signed up to cycle this. And God, my simple prayer is this wouldn't be a cycling holiday, but this would be a mighty, unstoppable tidal wave of hope into Vietnam, that we would be cycling into freedom, into inroads, into darkness. And God, my simple prayer is that this would count, that this literally would change lives and it would end slavery, that we would bring in a new dawn, a new era of freedom. And God, I pray that you would, God, in the old songs, the old hymns say, bind us together. I pray that this team would be united, united for a reason, 4 nations, but one purpose, to bring freedom to victims of modern slavery and human trafficking. So God, I pray that you would provide all that we need to do it. God, it's not about money. It's not about what we get or generate. But God, I do pray, this is my prayer, that this will be for something that eternally matters. In Jesus' name, amen.